Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast, presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. I'm Billy. I'm here with Nick. We're going to be covering the playoff games, previewing this week's coming championship game. But first, Nick, the Chargers fired Brandon Staley after last Thursday's game, making the second midseason coaching change in the NFL. The other was the Panthers. If you were Bill Belichick and you were on the open market, who would you rather coach next season, the Chargers or the Panthers?
Yeesh. That is that's not a that's not intriguing, man. I don't know. I would definitely probably aim towards Chargers on this. I don't see the Chargers wanting him. They're gonna want somebody. They want a big name, but they want a name that's actually gonna work.
The Chargers are cheap, but like their ownership is cheap, so I could see like if he named his price, I could see him pricing himself out of the Chargers. But at the same time, they got Herbert. They need to make a splash. They're getting slaughtered in that LA market by the Rams. They can't even draw their own fans. I hope they go back to San Diego at some time in the next decade or so.
And to be
But
honest,
yeah,
both teams are not intriguing. Like they're not intriguing.
the Panthers owner David Tepper has no problem dropping a bag on him.
But David Tepper is also a bad owner, which how you trade away your first round draft pick for this year. You're the worst
Mm-hmm.
team, so you're giving it to Chicago, so you won't get a first round draft pick till next following year. Um, you got that rookie quarterback. I mean, I don't know if any free agents want to go play in North Carolina. What's the intrigue of playing for the Panthers?
Yeah, I
I
agree with
don't
him.
see it. And then you're talking about the Chargers. So you have a great quarterback, but you're also in a division that is turning into a circling firing squad. The Chiefs are already feeling it this year. They're not
Broncos
as
on the up
strong as
and
they
up.
used to be. Yeah, Broncos are trying to build up and up. Russ's shelf life is ending, and Oakland is well, you know, don't if they're Oakland, they scored 0 points last Sunday, and then Thursday dropped 63. So what? I don't even understand.
Also, so this could be the second time in like what 3 years where the interim coach they hire is clearly better than the coach they replaced. Last time it was Bisaccia replacing Gruden, and now it's Antonio Pierce replacing McDaniels. If they go out and hire another coach and not just promote the interim coach, they're going to get what they deserve.
Yeah, if that happens twice, man, that's that's tough money, man. Like it's not even worth being an interim coach because why would you be interim coach now? You just feel like you do all this work to not have the job. I mean, the last Oakland Raiders coach, like you said, he had that team into the playoffs.
Yep.
He had them going, and for them just to dump him, and that was tough. And that actually happened last year with Carolina with their
Yep.
coach. He turned that team around, had them fighting for a playoff spot with a terrible team, and it's tough. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be interim coach because there's no outcome. There's no you'll become head coach next year because you did a good interim job unless you lead a team into playoffs and start becoming Sean McVay or something.
Not only do you not get the job that you deserve, you also lose your previous job because they don't let you just go back and be the defensive coordinator or whatever you were before. You get swept up in the dustbin of the entire coaching staff that gets let go. So anybody who gets asked to be the interim coach, it's like you're signing your own death certificate in a way.
Yeah, because you are part of the previous regime. So unless the owner says that you have to become the head coach, because if you don't become the head coach, then that's it. They're going to let you go.
Yeah, I can't even think of any interim coaches who got the full time job the next season off the top of my head.
Yeah, it don't work like that. It don't work like
No,
that.
it never does. But yeah, let's break into last week's playoff games. Before we do that, yours truly, me, I finally won 40 high fives last week.
Hey,
I popped off 217.
That's got to be the highest point total of the year.
Yeah, everybody came up big. James Cook had 45. We don't need to get into it. I've been dead for a while, but yeah, big week for me. It was like 15 weeks of frustration all let out in one game.
I tell you what, for me, I had a very disappointing week. Not in just in this league, but all leagues. It's really sad. It feels sad not having any fantasy football to worry about before Christmas. Like usually I
Yes,
care about it. It's a bad feeling, folks.
it is. It is sad. So let's get into some other people's joy and some other people's sadness. The first person to get sad is the Punishers. They lost to Smashhawk 132 to 129.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta look at the Atlanta head coach, man. That -10. Arthur Smith. He is chanting to Arthur Smith to get fired today.
Why do we all use the head coach so willy-nilly? It's such a loaded weapon almost that can backfire so easily, and pretty much all of us use it every week.
Look, that head coach, I'm not blaming Tampa Bay Punishers for this or TBP because understand that in that game, the Atlanta Falcons was in full control. They're winning 7-6. They were going into their red zone, and the Desmond Ritter, with barely 2 minutes to go in the game, rolls left and throws a pick. When he could just on third down, just throw it out of bounds or kneel down or anything and let the kicker get some more points, he decided to throw it into triple coverage, which led to the opposing quarterback going down, getting team field goal range, hit a field goal. So that's how the lonely Carolina got their second win this year.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, losing 9-7 to Carolina, and it costing Punishers the game here. Punishers was losing 132-125 heading into Monday night, and he had Tyler Lockett, who is a very good receiver. But we brought this up in our draft special. It's come up multiple. He's not as bad as Gabe Davis, but he's the same type of player where it's all or nothing, and he got nothing. 3 catches, 9 targets, so the opportunities were there. 21 yards, only 5 points. He came up short. Also playing with a backup quarterback and Drew Lock. We'll get to that later. But Lockett did not come through for Punishers.
I mean, it's tough, man. Jeez, 9 targets. It's and then understand, Smashhawk started Atlanta defense, so there was something right there.
Mm-hmm.
There was something right. The pick of Atlanta was right, but it was wrong. Austin Eckler though, nine yards. It's I think we have to put out the funeral. It's a funeral for Austin Eckler and Derrick Henry now because we're seeing 2 fantasy monsters go down.
Yeah, that game script for Eckler was non-existent. Once they went down so big, so fast, there was no way they were just going to give him meaningless carries coming off the injuries.
But it's crazy. Even if, with the carries, Austin Eckler used to be, a receiver back in the day, and he still has 6 targets. He has 6 targets and 4 catches for 29 yards, which that's the only reason why the point total looks all right. Because with 5 carries for 9 yards, that is pathetic.
Yeah. The opposite of pathetic, though, is Kyren Williams again. 152 yards rushing, 27 carries, 1 touchdown, 34 points. He also managed 5 catches for 3 yards. I don't know how that's possible, but he did it. And then he also got 45 points from Goff. I felt bad about this because I released Goff earlier in the week for Jake Browning. Goff had been really struggling. He had only 10 points last week. Punishers needed a quarterback. 3 of the 4 playoff teams used different starting quarterbacks in the previous week, which is crazy when you think about it. The quarterback carousel ended up with the Punishers getting Goff, and he got 5 touchdowns for 45 points out of Goff.
I mean, I wouldn't feel totally bad because as a guy who drafted Goff, he's been very up and down. And then the idea that he played against Denver defense to score 5 touchdowns on Denver defense. It's and Denver defense got a little hot this year at the last couple of weeks. So I'm kind of surprised that happened.
And even the teams that did put up points on Denver early in the year, they did that all on the running game. So it's not like teams were just throwing on them all season.
Exactly.
But yeah, 45 points for Goff, and it wasn't enough for punishers. CeeDee Lamb, another touchdown, his 8th on the season. He had 18 points. Evan Ingram came up short. We mentioned Lockett, and Lockett was the right play for him. I would have played Lockett too. His other options were Jacoby Myers, who somehow managed 2 touchdowns on 2 catches last week.
He threw a touchdown.
Yeah, that's crazy. Turd Ferguson had 10 points. He would have won with Turd Ferguson as the tight end of the flex. And Curtis Samuel at 21 points, 2 touchdowns out of nowhere. You're not playing him in your playoff game. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's so sketchy. Because I guarantee he probably looked at it like Tyler Lockett or Curtis Samuel, and he's like, all right, I'm starting Lockett, which is, you know what I mean? Because when they're having articles talking about if you're desperate, start Samuel. You don't want to start somebody you're desperate with.
Yeah, Lockett isn't a desperation play. He's just schizophrenic.
You know, the Baltimore defense, 16 points. It's hard to Cincinnati against Minnesota.
Yeah.
You thought maybe there was something there. I would have made that call thinking now to have more faith in Cincinnati against Minnesota, starting a backup quarterback when he gets Jacksonville against T-Law, and he could just blow up. But with T-Law getting hurt that game, they did nothing.
So he drafted the Baltimore defense. He's had the Baltimore defense on his roster all season. He picked up the Cincinnati defense on December 13th. So he picked this up basically for this matchup alone. He should have played the Baltimore defense against the struggling Jacksonville. Yeah, that was a path to victory he missed. On to Smashhawk, though. Rachaad White, 21 for 89, 2 catches for 50 yards, a touchdown, 29 points. 29 points is his 3rd highest total of the season. He led the way. Smashhawk didn't have a great week by his standards. This is his 2nd week in a row, kind of middling.
Man, Smashhawk lucked out. I picked Tampa to win this game. And for Smashhawk to survive, Dak Prescott, 9 points. Breece Hall, 4 points.
Good.
He lucked out. I mean, he's going to have a tough time next week with Jamar Chase out.
Yeah.
Breece Hall's very. You can't commit to him at all. Jefferson, Jefferson and Hawkinson. So they're going to have to really carry that team next week. And also Rashee Rice, which he's found in the woods. He found him and brought him in the house here. And my man he's been gold for him. He's the only one catching the ball, so why not? But Dak Prescott has a tough matchup this week coming up as well because he's on the road at Miami. So it depends. They said that Dak Prescott right now is playing as good as Desmond Ridder on the road. Ooh. So that's a yikes.
Yeah, we'll get into Dak Prescott more in the championship game preview. Justin Jefferson had a good game, 7 catches for 84 yards, 15 points. So that's a positive for him. Hawkins,
and that'd have been more if that guy would have got the Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, Hawkinson 6 for 63. Rashee Rice 9 for 91 and a touchdown, 24 points. He needed every bit of that. You're right. He just literally found him. Ravens coach came up big against Jacksonville. Nick Folk, he might need a new kicker here. He's been struggling. Yeah. Nick Folk has been single digits every week since week 10.
Yeah, Tennessee struggled to score points. So, yeah, it's not good.
Josh Jacobs didn't play. I do not think he's going to play this week. He missed practice today, which is Thursday. Cortland Sutton had another decent game on the bench, 12 points, 5 for 71. But that's about it for this game. You got anything else?
No, that's it. I don't think you're going to see. You're not going to see Jacobs anymore for the rest of the year. He wants to protect himself for his contract.
Yeah, we'll get in more to Smashhawk in the preview game. On to the next game. Another close game. Both these playoff games were insanely close. This one, Trombones won 131 to 124. Dead Money takes a loss here. Dead Money went into the Monday night game not knowing who his quarterback was going to be. He decided to play Geno Smith. He decided to wait for Geno Smith. He picked up Drew Lock as his insurance policy. I mentioned last week, before he even added Drew Lock, this as an option for him, but I said it like facetiously, and I said it like the only way he could wait for Geno is if he picked up Drew Lock. Nobody's crazy enough to do that, and he did it.
I just don't like the decision because I probably would have.
It's crazy.
I would have tried Joe Flacco because his point of playing so much he's playing so far. I would have at least given him a shot because Joe, like Drew Lock, you don't know what you're gonna get. He's been cold all year. You just don't know.
Sometimes not knowing what you're gonna get is the better option because you say you know someone else's floor. But like the few options that Drew Lock has gotten have gone very poorly, and Seattle isn't really known for flinging the ball around too much. Geno has struggled to put up numbers in that offense. Drew Lock is owned in 2% of leagues. So basically, Dead Money is the only team in ESPN fantasy leagues to get a start this week. He finished with 18, which isn't terrible for a guy who had no expectations.
He got those points late. He got those points like the last 30 seconds of the game.
Drew Lock, I watched a lot of this game. Drew Lock was throwing balls all over the place. It was tough to watch.
My man's he's got a strong arm. He's tall, got a strong arm. He's not accurate.
If he would have ended up in single digits, I don't think he would have ever heard the end of it. Like, we would have brought it up at every draft. Remember that time you played Drew Lock in the playoff game?
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to sit at another table by himself. Like, but yeah, he was let down by his horses here. Pollard, Barkley, DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, and Derrick Henry, all major reasons why he was even in this playoff position. All pedestrian games. If one of them pops, this game has a different outcome.
Yeah, his team is very much similar to the team I have in another league where I started Devontae Smith and Derrick Henry, and those scores suck. That just sucks. I lost my game by 3 points. You lost this by 7. Devontae Smith this is a bad year for Devontae Smith, man. I just don't know how to say it. It's for me, it's a bad year. It feels like for him, but he has 957 yards receiving this year, so he's gonna hit 1,000. So you'd be like, oh, he's doing good, but it's like, but is he? Derrick Henry, King Henry, how far he has fallen.
16 carries for 9 yards.
That's just Jesus Christ. I mean, he lucked out with likely like had an amazing catch that like really helped out a lot with the Atlanta defense there. The Cleveland defense, though, put up 21 points. He has a pathway. And what sucks is that what if, because he has a pathway to winning. You know what I mean? You see on his bench, he has close to 70 points on his bench.
Zamir White, he picked up, but he was never going to play him. It was a good move to add him, but yeah, he was never going to play him. But he should have played Amari Cooper over Devontae Smith.
Right.
No question.
Amari Cooper, yeah. Amari Cooper had a huge catch, boom, touchdown. Even Jay Reed against Tampa Bay is very suspectable. They live that bend don't break. That's how Tampa Bay lives. So everybody who plays Tampa gets points. So Jay Reed could have probably played. Especially against DJ Moore against Cleveland defense was not a good matchup.
Right. So yeah, good call there. I didn't even pick that up. Against Cleveland, Jaden Reed. So we all know our own team's the best. You know what I mean? So looking at his roster, I would have been like, yeah, there's no way he's playing Jaden Reed. But I don't know how much he considered it, but he should have. Since week 10, Jaden Reed double digits every week except for one.
Right. The problem is that the problem is you say like, all right, well, DJ Moore, that boom bust potential. So you're like, is he going to boom? But like against Cleveland, he was not going to boom. That's what he's not going to do.
Right.
But he had going into it 3 games of 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
But those 3 games were against Detroit twice in Minnesota. So and before that, it was not good. He had that one Washington game, and then nothing else good.
He got very lucky with his fantasy special teams. He got 41 points between the defense, kicker, and head coach. Without the fantasy special teams, without Isaiah Likely, he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah. Really weird. Saquon didn't have a good game. That's interesting. That's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's tough. So between Henry and Barkley, that's 25 carries for 25 yards. How is that possible?
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. That hurts. I feel pain.
On to Trombones here. He rolled the dice with Flacco, was rewarded for it. 25 points, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have the 3 interceptions, but he threw the ball 44 times. So, I mean, that'll happen.
Yeah, 374 yards passing. I mean, my man is going to throw for a cool 1,000 yards, it feels like, this year in the month of December.
Yeah,
he's just going for it. I mean, we're off the couch. I mean, he's getting paid $4 million, which is crazy, right? But Cleveland's going to be in the playoffs, so he's going to get him working. I mean, he has Puka, who had kind of a soft game, 550, but he's going to bounce back because the Rams have been kind of going after it here. Travis Kelce, 7 points. That's discouraging, and especially D-Hop with 2 for 21. D-Hop's been red hot of late, so for that to happen, it's kind of like ouch.
Yeah, Levis was hurt. I don't know what's up with him, but yeah, Hopkins definitely needs Levis to be productive. Kelce, 5 catches, 28 yards. And what makes this even worse is Trombones has Njoku on his bench. He's been on fire. I got a note on him when we get to the playoff preview. Trombones roster is like, I don't know. It's very good, but it's so unpredictable. Like, he doesn't know who to play each week.
Right. Because D. Johnson was an absolute garbage can last week, and then this week he has 4 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and even Thielen's hanging around. We'll get into more of that on him in the playoff preview.
Yeah.
Dolphins winning head coach, not even close, 30-0. 49ers defense, 12 points.
The Gus Bus. The Gus Bus returns.
Yeah, the Gus Bus is back. Keaton Mitchell's injured. Thielen's still hanging around. Debo, 5th touchdown in 4 weeks. He's come alive. That trade we made, it's only worked out for Trombones between Njoku and Samuel. The only problem he has with Njoku is he doesn't know how to get him into the lineup. Yeah,
that's it.
So yeah, let's go to the Popeyes playoff bracket. Popeyes. It's not game day without wings. Popeyes now at participating U.S. restaurants. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
This is a championship. This is the first championship game here. We're going to go out here at some of these. So this whether you got Boy Scout versus Smashhawks here. So you got.
Yeah, let me see something real quick. How many championships has Boy Scout won? I remember they won the first year of the league, which is 2008.
Right now, the prediction is Smashhawks will score 161, and Boy Scout, based off their lineup setup, is going to score 46 points. So the matchups they got going on: Boy Scout is running Nick Mullins, Monster for Miami, forward for Cleveland, Puka, Debo, Travis. The Gus Buses got back in the starting lineup. San Francisco defense against Baltimore is a scary start. Evan McPherson, and then Miami head coach against Dallas. Again, another sketchy lineup. He's not starting Njoku, who's been on fire. He's just leaving that he's leaving that flame pit on the bench. He's starting the Gus bus instead against San Francisco defense. I don't know, man. Where Njoku's got the soft Houston Texans team, who their quarterback has gone down. They're not starting this Sunday, so they might be like, you know what? Let's just they might just not care enough to win.
Right. I understand starting Gus Bus because now Keith Mitchell's out, but that San Francisco defense is super tough. Make things worse, Trombones also has the San Francisco defense, so then you're kind of playing against yourself.
Yeah.
It is on Monday night. Sometimes it is good to wait for that Monday night matchup. Kelsey, is Njoku the better option than Kelsey now, or would you consider maybe playing Kelsey in the flex and Njoku in the lineup?
Njoku's been on fire. I'd probably play him
catches, 22 targets, 195 yards, 5 touchdowns since Flacco became the quarterback the last 2 weeks.
That's
insane.
He's pinned him in the Pro Bowl by himself.
You had him earlier this year too, didn't you? I
drafted him. Yes.
Yeah,
I thought there was going to be something there, and
there was. You just had to wait forever for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked him up as a bye week fill-in, and then I didn't want to drop him. I knew he had some trade value, but I already had Laporta, so I didn't need another tight end.
There's a saltiness to this because I swear, run across players that I drafted, and then they're on other teams thriving, and I'm like, I drafted y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. So at some when that happens, you're like, okay, so I was right about that, but at the same time, at least somebody gets to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Damn, I was right.
But yeah, so Smashhawk, Dak at Miami. Would you consider Fields over Dak? Fields is playing Arizona.
Ooh, at Arizona at home. Ooh.
Yeah. And Fields is due. I know he's been a little.
That's going to be that's a matchup of two quarterbacks that play very similar. Fields and the Arizona quarterback, for his name. They play. Yeah, they play exactly the same, so they're going to be running all over the field.
And speaking of Kyler Murray, Trombones dropped him this week to pick up Nick Mullins, who is slated to start over Flacco in the Trombones lineup.
What?
Yeah, Nick Mullins is in the Boy Scout Trombones lineup here. Mullins is facing Detroit, which that could be a shootout. Minnesota versus Detroit.
Oh, no. But he dropped Murray?
Yeah, Murray hasn't done shit.
But against Chicago defense?
I don't hate it. I'd rather have Flacco than Murray, and then Mullins. Yeah, they're all one and the same to me.
I would have started Flacco. Oh gosh, that's oh no.
Yeah, we could have a
Flacco's average. Flacco's averaging 26 points a game. You know what I mean? So there's just no way I'm starting. I'm not Nick Mullins over Flacco. That's just no way. Not today.
Yeah, it's tough.
Really surprised that Smashhawk has Breece Hall in the lineup. I mean, I know they're going against Washington, but
Breece Hall is going to be his RB2 because I don't believe Jacobs is playing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think we see Sutton.
Move in there. Yeah, it's time to move Sutton in. It's time for Sutton to get some starting burn anyway. He's been very steady.
Yeah, he started him most of the season. I think once Jefferson came back, he started benching him.
Okay.
Mostert is the number 2 ranked running back, so he made it all season relatively healthy. Trombones drafted Mostert 149th overall. That's why he's in the championship game. You hit on a pick like that at 149.
Yeah, the best thing that ever happened to him is Wilson going down, and then A-Chain stayed down. So,
what else do I have here? Miami is hosting Dallas. Miami is 5-1 since their bye week. Their only loss was by 1 point to Tennessee on that Monday night game where they really had no business losing.
Yeah, they drew F game.
Rashard White, is he the fantasy MVP? And is he also Smashhawk MVP? He has 66 carries in the last 3 weeks.
If he wins, I will give him the MVP award because he is coming through. The last 4 weeks, Rashad White has been an absolute tear, because Tampa Bay has figured out to use him as a receiver as well. Because you're talking about now he's getting since like week 10, he's had no less than 10 yards receiving, and he gets at least 2 targets a game. But one of those targets is always a touchdown the last 2 games. So it's he's getting he's part of they're kind of doing this like extension to the run, but since week 12, he's been getting well over 100 yards total a game. So yeah, Rashard White has definitely shown himself to be an RB2. Like I said, he's more of an Alvin Kamara type guy, running back, and he's showing that value.
Yeah, it's crazy. The team is loaded to Smashhawks with Dak, Jacobs, Jefferson, Chase, Hawkinson, even Breece Hall to some extent, that Rashard White might be his MVP.
I mean, it's what happens. It's what we do in the playoffs, not regular game, not regular season MVP. We're talking playoffs here.
I have 2 more notes on Smashhawk. The Bengals head coach at Pittsburgh, I don't love it. I know Pittsburgh sucks. I know they're reeling. But division matchup, they somehow always beat the Bengals, it seems like. Also, Pittsburgh is due for a win. Like, Tomlin is too good to lose 4 in a row.
But but the question is the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback too good to avoid that? Because is he going to come back down to earth? Jake Browning, his name Jake Browning, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been going off.
Josh Browning last week.
He's been going off, and it's drawing comparisons. First things first, they're saying that is Jake Browning a system quarterback because Burrow does same thing. So it's like, is this a system? Is it a system or is it the quarterback? It don't matter. Cincinnati's trying to roll off these wins and get a playoff where it's Pittsburgh Steelers, they've given up, man. Them wide receivers don't block for shit.
Yeah, you're right. They have given up. I've never seen Pittsburgh this down before. I have one more question on the Smashhawk roster. So Chase is definitely out. You could probably apply this to Jacobs too. There are obviously major reasons why he's in the championship game. If you're in the Smashhawk position, you're in the championship game, 2 of your top 2 draft picks are, one is definitely not playing, one is likely not to play. You have to drop them, right, and pick up guys to pump up your bench points.
That is true. That you don't know if you're running to a tie. You have to have those points to make up the difference.
You could put one of them on IR, for sentimental reasons. They can get a ring.
Just throw Chase on IR and then pick up a person. But pick up a quality flex person and call it a day.
Yeah, even a kicker. Like a kicker could get you 10.
Yeah, they can. It's true.
You got anything else on this Popeyes playoff preview bracket?
I got nothing.
I have. So we're going to do our Fantasy Hall of Famer in a second.
Yes, I do. So my Fantasy Hall of Famer, he is currently not active in NFL anymore. He is a coach, wide receivers coach, actually, for the San Francisco 49ers. It's Mr. Wesley Carter Welker at 5'9". He played. He's from Oklahoma City, born May 1st. My man has 9,924 yards full in his career, but he was more known for us in the fantasy world as Mr. PPR. He ended his career with 903 catches. He averaged 109 here. Incredible. You're talking about a guy. He's part of the 2004 all rookie team. He made that as special teamer. In 2011, they have the NFL top 100 where they rank people, whatever. His lowest number he was rated in 2012 was number 23. He was 2007's AP Offensive Player of the Year. He has 5 Pro Bowls. He went to 5 straight Pro Bowls. So when he was good, he was really good. He was a first team All-Pro in 2009 and 2011. And his receptions, his highest reception year is 123 receptions. And he did it again in 2011 with 122. And then he has another one with 118. Tells you a lot with him and Tom Brady had a connection. And when it comes to receiving yards, his career high in receiving yards in a single season was 2011 with 1,500 yards. But here's a strange fact. Um, his career, he has 50 touchdowns. So he was never a red zone threat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, he's his long reception is 99 yards. He's just a monster, man. Absolute
I bet
monster. Go ahead.
I bet Gronk vultured a bunch of his touchdowns.
Oh yeah. Gronk, Aaron Hernandez. Yeah. Randy Moss. You played with Randy Moss, and Randy Moss had
Mm-hmm.
22 that year. So
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean? Because I remember that year when Randy got 22, the first part of the year, Wes Welker was getting all the catches. And they were like, why is Randy not catching anything? And then Wes had like damn near like 60 catches in like damn near 7 games. And then it was like, all right, they start going to Randy. And then Wes was barely getting catches. He was getting 5, 6 catches. But like 5, 6 catches is good for people. But Wes was getting like 10, 11 a game. He was your Puka before him. So he shaved out a 5 now wide receiver could exist. The slot
Yeah.
machine himself, Wes Welker.
Congratulations to Wes Welker to his nomination into our Fantasy Hall of Fame. I'll always remember him as a St. Louis Ram.
St. Louis Ram.
Yeah, just kidding. He spent like 3 games there or something at the very end of his career.
I remember him as a Denver Bronco because he showed
Yeah.
up and it was kind of like, well, he literally took over the Brandon Stokely role that Peyton Manning is used to. And it was that team, that Denver Bronco team, when he first showed up to Denver after he was supposed to be like career over, it was amazing. It's really, I hate to go on this tangent, but like these players, like when they're told they have to retire and when they really have a bee in their bonnet about like not retiring and they play the very next year, they are really, really good. Top Peyton Manning did it. We're seeing Aaron Rodgers had a chance, so we're gonna see what Aaron Rodgers looks like next year. Like it's just these guys when they're told, "Hey, your career's done," they're like, "No, I still got some. I still got another one in me." It's pretty true. They got another one. Usually,
Right.
that's one.
Yeah, Wes Welker, 8 games with the Rams in 2015, 13 catches, 102 yards, 7.8 yards a catch.
Yeah, that hurt his average catches a year there.
I had one more note before we go. I meant to mention this during the preview game. I want to get it in. I feel like it's important. In week 4, Smashhawk played the Trombones. Smashhawk won, of course, because he was undefeated, for most of the season. He won 105-100. So it was a close game, a game Smashhawk should have lost. Quarterbacking in this game for Trombones was Joe Burrow. He's since gone. Geno Smith was on Smashhawk and got the start that week over
Oh
Dak.
wow.
Debo had a 0 for Smashhawk. Debo is now on the Trombones and putting up numbers. James Conner was on Trombones. He's gone from his roster. Devontae Adams is gone from Trombones. He was on that roster. Kelsey was still there. But, yeah, Smashhawk is essentially the same roster that we talked about in the preview. But close game, 105-100.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So good luck to Smashhawk and Trombones this week. We'll be back with our final episode of the season next week to hand out the championship trophy, and we'll break down the high fives everybody won. And yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah, man, it's been great this year, guys. All right, good luck to the teams in the championship game.
All right, yeah, thanks. See everybody next week.
See you later.